This is Matthew Cratter from Trader University, and today I want to answer the question, is XRP a scam? If you're interested in learning how to make money in both bull and bear markets, or you just want to see what I'm trading or investing in, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now, I've already done a couple videos on XRP, but I continue to get questions about this cryptocurrency, and there are some objections made to some of my previous videos about XRP. So I wanted to make some corrections as well as answering this question, is XRP a scam? Now, I was using some shorthand in my previous videos. I said that XRP was created by Ripple Labs, and the XRP army is correct in the fact that technically this is not true. The XRP, the cryptocurrency, and the XRP ledger were not created by Ripple Labs. They were created by some other developers like Jed McCaleb, who's also behind Mt. Gox, where all the Bitcoin were stolen from. He's a well-known, very questionable character, which I talk about in my previous video. But XRP was not created by Ripple Labs. Ripple Labs somehow, though, magically ended up with more than 50% of the 100 billion XRP supply. So this is an interesting scam because they've been very careful to try to cover their tracks and keep everything a bit separate. And so they've done a fairly smart job of this, so they have ended up getting sued by investors and by the SEC, as we'll see later in this video. One thing I want to point out parenthetically here is that one reason a lot of people like XRP because they think it's quote-unquote cheap. It's just 24 cents for one XRP, whereas right now it's about $11,500 for one Bitcoin. One reason that XRP is so cheap is simply because there's so many of them. There are 100 billion XRP, which were created just at the beginning, out of nothing. There's no mining or anything like that. There are only 21 million Bitcoin. And so this is something to keep in mind. Most of the Bitcoin have been mined, something like 18.5 million are already out there circulating. Whereas with XRP, there's this huge overhang that Ripple Labs owns and that some of the founders like Jed McCaleb own. I take this quote from Ryan Zagoni, where he says that he points out that Ripple did not create XRP, but what we do own is a significant amount of XRP. It was gifted to us by some of the open source developers that created it. But there's not a direct connection between Ripple, the company, and XRP. No, of course not. Ripple Labs just happened to end up with, I think at the beginning they had 80% of the total XRP. The original founders kept 20% for themselves, so 80 billion for Ripple Labs, 20 billion for the founders, and they've all been dumping it ever since. Ripple Labs' main business model, they make software for banks, but none of the banks are really using it, and they've been unable to get any real traction. And so Ripple's main business model, as I talked about in a previous video, which I'll link to, is dumping XRP on naive retail investors like the XRP army, and then using those cash proceeds to buy publicity, to buy ads, and also to actually pay these banks and other financial services companies to try out their software. So they don't really have customers per se. If you go and look at their financial statements, most of their revenue comes from actually just dumping XRP. So I talk about that in this video, but just a small sampling. The nice thing about being Ripple Labs is you have all this funny money, this monopoly money that you printed up, and you can just hand it out to make people happy. You can hand it out to Stephen Colbert's charities or Ellen DeGeneres' charities, and you get the name out there, etc. But if you had your own money printer, you could do this too. And what makes this possible is that there's still people dumb enough to want to buy XRP. So I'm doing this video not to make fun of people who want to do that, but I'm really worried that XRP holders are going to continue to lose money. I believe XRP peaked at something like $3 a few years ago. It's down to 24 cents, so it's already down over 90%. But this is something that it's never going to go anywhere simply because of how it's set up. And one reason it's never going anywhere is because the insiders keep selling. Ripple Labs has this whole overhang that they keep selling. Jed McCaleb, who's one of the founders of XRP and of co-founders of Ripple Labs, had a big falling out. He seems to have a falling out with everyone that he has encounters with, but he's currently dumping XRP every single day. This is a little bit of an outdated tweet from August 6th pointing out that he's been dumping 1.74 million XRP per day. I'm going to link to his wallet, which I got from one of these articles. Here's just wanted to point out here. This is where it talks about how 20 billion of the original XRP went to the founders like Jed McCaleb, and the rest were given magically to Ripple Labs to manage. I'm going to link to this wallet here where you can see this is allegedly Jed McCaleb's wallet, and you can see how much he's dumping every single day. If you're a holder of XRP, or if you've been buying XRP, you've been helping to make Jed McCaleb rich. He's been selling approximately $800,000, $900,000 worth of XRP per day. This guy is a billionaire, in part thanks to the XRP army. This could contrast very clearly with someone like Satoshi Nakamoto, the anonymous creator of Bitcoin, who's worth billions of dollars at this point. If he's still alive, he's never sold a single Bitcoin, whereas Ripple Labs constantly dumping on the XRP army. I'll link to this article about whether Ripple controls XRP. This is one of those propaganda pieces, and it's always amusing what these articles do, because they try to make the argument that Bitcoin and Ethereum are more centralized than XRP, while XRP is actually completely being run by a parent corporation. There's no corporation for Bitcoin. There's no corporation for Ethereum. Now let's talk a little bit more about XRP. As I said, there's no mining. It's not a proof of stake where you have to run these complex algorithms and burn a lot of electricity. It's not proof of work like Bitcoin is. It's not proof of stake as Ethereum hopes to transition to very soon. Proof of work, you actually have to buy lots of expensive computer equipment. You have to use vast amounts of energy. A lot of people see this as a negative. I actually see it as a positive, because great civilizations use a lot of power. They use a lot of energy. The internet uses something like 10% of the world's electricity. Using electricity, using energy is a positive thing. If you live in a mud hut somewhere, you don't use any energy, but you're at a very low level of civilization. And so Bitcoin uses all this energy to secure the network. And that's why people are willing to put tens of millions or even billions of dollars of their net worth into Bitcoin, because they know that it's safe. And proof of work provides these huge security benefits to the Bitcoin network. Proof of stake, you at least have to stake some coins and show that you've got skin in the game, etc. I don't think it's as secure as proof of work. But the interesting thing is XRP doesn't have either of these. There was what's called a pre-mine with XRP. These 100 billion XRP were just created ex nihilo. They were created out of nothing all at once, and they just happened to be distributed to some very smart tech founders and Ripple Labs itself magically. Of course, Ripple Labs did not create XRP, but they ended up getting 80% of XRP magically. And so instead of being run on proof of work or proof of stake, XRP has what are called validators that validate the transactions. Now, there's not a lot of activity, as far as I can tell, on the XRP ledger, because banks really aren't using this technology at all. People like to point out, especially the XRP army likes to point out, that Ripple Labs only controls a small percentage of the validators now. These are analogous to the stakers or the miners in Bitcoin. And so this appears to be somewhat decentralized because of that. And I would agree with that. All the validators have to agree, I guess, on the transaction. But you have this very strange thing where Ripple Labs still controls the vast majority of the XRP supply. So if you're Ripple Labs and you're running a couple validators, you have what might be called economic nodes. You have special power behind the scenes that's exogenous to the system. Obviously, you can't have more than one vote within the system on the ledger, but you have this exogenous power because you control so much of the supply. People will point out that the supply is locked up in escrow, and that does appear to be true, but all this means is that this is a slow motion pump and dump. This XRP will continue to be sold to the naive public. I believe it's locked up over the next 3 years. It's something like 1/30 of it is released every month and dumped on people. So let's revisit the question: is XRP actually more decentralized than Bitcoin or Ethereum or Ether, as Ripple Labs claims? Well, I would suggest no, simply because you certainly have whales in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum has the Ethereum Foundation, has Vitalik, who owns a lot, but there's nothing like what you have with Ripple Labs and Jed McCaleb and the other founders controlling more than 50% of the dollar value of the cryptocurrency, or of the supply of the cryptocurrency. Also, in terms of development, the software developers working on the code, the main developer for the XRP ledger is Ripple Labs. There's no debate about this. If Ethereum has the Ethereum Foundation, Bitcoin has its own series of decentralized developers, but it's certainly much more centralized for Ripple Labs. So they control the vast majority of the supply. They control the development. If I wanted to just start working on the XRP ledger, I couldn't do that. I would need to somehow get permission from Ripple Labs to modify the code. The other thing I would point out, they have so much XRP that they still need to dump, so they don't need to raise this supply cap. But of course, it is possible. They're the main, as we said, they're the main developer for the XRP ledger. They control the code, and so of course they could change the code to increase the supply over time. This is one reason XRP trades at just 24 cents, down 90%, because there's this huge overhang, and there's also the specter of a parent corporation being able to create more XRP ex nihilo. Again, there was a pre-mine. They can create XRP out of nothing. They don't need to mine it and spend lots of money like you would need to do with Bitcoin. You could do a thought experiment. If Ripple Labs decides to increase the max supply cap, who's going to stop them? They control the vast majority of the supply. They have all this power. Now let's try another thought experiment, because this question of XRP and decentralization seems to be very important. If you wanted to sue Bitcoin, who would you sue, or whom would you sue, I should say, since I do have an English background? Would you sue the full nodes that validate the blocks? But these are spread all across the globe. I've linked to maps of this before. It's completely decentralized. These nodes are in every country all around the world. The miners, how are you going to sue the miners? A lot of them are in China, as we'll talk about a little bit later. They're in Russia, they're in Europe, they're in South America, they're in Africa, they're in the United States, North America, South America, Central America, etc. They are everywhere. You could sue one of them, but these are completely decentralized, just like the nodes are. You could go after a single Bitcoin Core developer, the people who work on the Bitcoin Core software, but they're also everywhere. And these are just private individuals. They don't have any special power. There's true decentralization here. You could also try to sue the founder, the creator of Bitcoin, but he's anonymous. We don't know who he is. We don't even know if he's still alive. His coins have never moved or been sold. So let's try the same thought experiment with XRP. If you wanted to sue XRP, whom would you sue? Well, it's very clear. You would sue Ripple Labs. And in fact, this is what's happened. Ripple Labs has been fighting off lawsuits for the last couple years. In particular, they've been fighting the SEC because the SEC says that they issued XRP and it looks and smells a lot like a security. The SEC has said that Ethereum and right here, the SEC has concluded that Ethereum and Bitcoin are not centrally controlled, and therefore they're exempt from securities laws. Not so for XRP, which tells you the SEC certainly thinks that XRP is centralized. And it's a little bit funny because the executive chairman of Ripple, Chris Larsen, who seems like a pretty scammy person himself, again, that's just my opinion, I don't know him personally, but he, in this article, this is Ripple Labs threatening to leave the U.S. over crypto regulation. You can imagine, what if Bitcoin Labs wanted to leave the U.S. over crypto regulation? Well, there is no Bitcoin Labs. It's completely decentralized. If the U.S. cracks down on Bitcoin, there'll be no problem. People in other countries will just use it because it's truly decentralized. This shows you how Ripple Labs views itself as the parent of XRP. It's threatening to leave the U.S. There is a center to this this cryptocurrency. And it's pretty ironic, actually. What Chris Larsen says here is that Ripple has grown increasingly frustrated over what it perceives as a hostile attitude to the cryptocurrency by the federal government. We've talked on this channel, we've talked about how the U.S. government, in particular the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, is actually really liberalizing rules, now allowing banks to provide custody for crypto assets, not just for Bitcoin, but for other cryptocurrencies. But the SEC and the government don't like Ripple Labs simply because it's a scammy organization. Everyone can see that they are pumping and dumping XRP. And so these legal battles continue at both at the federal level and at the California level. But this just shows you when people say that XRP is decentralized, obviously the value of XRP will hugely be driven by the result of these lawsuits. And it just shows you how centralized the currency is. And it also shows you that the leaders at Ripple Labs, executives, are just not honest, talking about how the federal government has been so oppressive of crypto. It's the exact opposite. Everything's being liberalized to allow banks, to allow hedge funds and other groups to custody Bitcoin and other crypto assets. Now, the only reason I talk about XRP, I would ignore it if I could. It's such a, it just has such a large market cap. It's the third largest market cap after Ethereum and Bitcoin. Now, one reason for this is simply because there's such a huge supply. The market cap of XRP is about 8 billion, Ethereum's at about 41, 42 billion, and Bitcoin at almost 212 billion. Now, if we look at how much it's down from, each currency's down from their all-time highs, this really tells you how the market is pricing in the future. And this is, unfortunately, still somewhat of a battle of losers. Who's down the least? Bitcoin's down 43% from the all-time high. I expect it actually to hit new all-time highs by the end of this year or early next year. And so these numbers will certainly change. Ethereum's still down about 74% from its all-time high. XRP is down 93, almost 94% from its all-time high. The only reason it has such a high market cap is that there's so many coins out there. There are 100 billion coins, as we said, whereas Bitcoin only has 21 million. I spent a lot of time on this channel talking about stock to flow and how you use it to value Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks a lot like gold. It has a very high stock to flow. I believe the stock to flow of gold right now is close to 62. And this is one reason that I think Bitcoin's market cap will slowly approach that of gold and eventually exceed it. Ethereum has a stock to flow of 32. XRP has a very, very low stock to flow. It's not a valuable commodity or scarce asset in the same way that Bitcoin and Ethereum are. It also pales in comparison, the amount that it trades, 46 million in the last 24 hours, whereas Ethereum has traded 1.4 billion and Bitcoin has traded 3.6 billion. So you can see it's off by a few, XRP is off by a few orders of magnitude. Also, in terms of the fees that are used in transactions, Bitcoin has generated $400,000 in fees. Ethereum, almost $1 million, $950,000 in fees over the last 24 hours. XRP has generated $61 worth of fees. This is just not a currency that's being used. It's being traded. It's certainly being traded actively, though not in huge size. 46 million in the world of finance, whereas it's a lot of money for an individual, is really nothing. This is not something that institutional investors can even participate in. It's too small. This is smaller than most microcap stocks. And as a result, you can see that there's not a lot of value on the network. Networks that have a lot of value generate a lot of fees, obviously, because there's economic value there that people are willing to pay for. Finally, another measurement of liquidity I thought I'd mention is that you can look at the percentage move that's required in the cryptocurrency, in the price of the crypto, in order to accommodate someone buying $5 million worth of the cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or XRP, or selling $5 million worth of the crypto. Bitcoin is a huge market. It's very deep. It's very liquid. This is kind of a measurement of what you might call slippage. Bitcoin to move $5 million, you take a hit of just 0.16%. This is the market sort of bending, the bid falling down to adjust, people hitting the bid with a huge amount of capital. So this is very low slippage. This will go down over time as Bitcoin adoption increases and as liquidity increases. Ethereum is comparable at just about 0.4% slippage. To move $5 million worth of XRP, you would impact the price by almost 3.5%. And so if you wanted to sort of extrapolate these numbers linearly, if you wanted to move $150 million worth of XRP, you would actually, if this models linearly, and it probably collapses a lot faster than this, you would actually drive down the price by 100%. So the actual price of XRP at 24 cents, it's not, you can't do any size there. This is not something that will ever interest institutional investors. So when you see that XRP is cheap, you're very excited that it's 24 cents, and Bitcoin looks like it's just awful and overpriced because it's $11,500. There's a reason for this. Good things are expensive. And Malibu Beach real estate is expensive. You can buy land in the middle of the desert for 24 cents for an acre in some places. But things have, valuable things tend to be expensive. The good news about Bitcoin is you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy $5 or $10 worth of it. You can buy fractional Bitcoin, which are called Satoshis. But I think looking at these liquidity metrics, especially looking at the slippage that's required to move a serious amount of money, this shows that XRP is not even in the same league as Ethereum, as Ether, and Bitcoin. You can't go in and out of a market. $5 million for an institutional investor is really nothing, and you can't have this kind of slippage. And so this shows that the market cap of XRP is a little bit of a mirage. It's just driven by the huge supply of coins that there are. Finally, let's address the inevitable objections that will find their way into the comments below. Am I a toxic Bitcoin maximalist? No, I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. I'm open to other projects, other cryptocurrencies. I don't like most of the ones that are currently out there, but I do like Ethereum, especially how it's being used, how Ether's being used in the DeFi space. I find this very fascinating. I just don't like scam coins. I don't like scammers. I don't like people like Jed McCaleb. I don't like groups like Ripple Labs. And obviously the SEC doesn't either. And hopefully these people eventually end up in jail for what they've done and are doing to mom and pop investors, to the small retail investors. When I make videos about XRP, I always get the comment in the comment section, am I bitter? I'm just bitter that I don't own any XRP. I can assure you guys that I can afford 24 cents to buy one XRP if I wanted to. I think it's a scam coin. That's why I don't own it. And if it goes up a lot, I'll be okay. I'm not going to FOMO on it. And then, of course, do I know that this is the one that always comes up in the comments? And I made a bunch of videos about this, but do I realize that Bitcoin mining is centralized in China and that it's controlled by the Chinese Communist Party? Just not true. I made a almost 40-minute video on this about the mining pools in China, 51% attacks on the blockchain, etc. So if you really want to get the truth and dig down deep into this, you can watch this video. It's ironic. It's the scammers like Ripple Labs that always cite this. Cardano does this as well. Hoskinson cites this concentration of mining in China, and they use it as a way of trying to suggest that Bitcoin is more centralized than XRP or Cardano, whereas these people know they have their own currency, they've created, they're printing it, they're dumping it on people, and so they have to sort of try to shift the blame and try to pretend that Bitcoin is not decentralized. But as we saw, Ripple Labs is being sued by the SEC. Ripple is a very centralized company. Ripple Labs is certainly a corporation, and as we've explored in this video, XRP is controlled. It's still controlled by Ripple Labs simply because they hold vast quantities of it. They control the development of it, etc. Even though technically they don't control more than 50% of the validators, we can still see that they have economic control and they have control of the code. They have sort of a bully pulpit there. Is XRP a scam? Of course it is. It's not even, you have people who push very questionable coins, especially some people in the DeFi space, And it's funny when I hear them laughing at XRP, because these are people who are pushing somewhat questionable projects, and even they mock Ripple Labs and XRP. XRP is a slow motion pump and dump. Jed McCaleb is selling his XRP to you people who buy XRP every single day. You're basically sending him $800,000, $900,000 every day. And if you're doing this, I feel sorry for you, because there are many great projects out there. Ethereum is super interesting, and Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin has just tremendous upside. And that's where I put my money, on Bitcoin. If you want to go a little bit deeper, I also have another video here about XRP that I published in August that talks about some more bad news in terms of the valuation of Ripple Labs versus their holdings of XRP, etc., as well as going into a little bit more depth about Jed McCaleb's sales of XRP. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. I know you XRP Army guys are just going to downvote this and give me a lot of dislikes. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Time will tell who was right about this. If you want to be notified when I publish my next video, be sure to hit that notification bell. Let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. And what I would encourage the XRP Army, I would encourage you guys to try to sound more intelligent than you did in my previous videos. You really do your cryptocurrency a disservice when you put in really spammy comments and you sound really dumb. So let's see if we can find some smart XRP holders to provide an actual critique of what I've talked about. Not just saying Matt's dumb and Trader University is dumb and he's a Bitcoin maxi, etc. Those kind of sort of stupid comments. So let's see the quality of the discourse we can get here. And I think that will tell people something about what kind of people hold XRP. So please put your best foot forward. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.